Hello, this is Yusuf from Blue Kite team, and we're going to talk about this Startup Amsterdam case study. At first, we're going to look at the company profile and current services of the Startup Amsterdam, and then we're going to do business analysis for Startup Amsterdam. Then we're going to look at the competitive advantage of Startup Amsterdam competitors. And lastly, we're going to talk about the recommendations and plan implementation and brief budget for Startup Amsterdam. Aisha will start first. Go ahead, Aisha.
Thank you, Yusuf. Startup Amsterdam formed in 2015. It is an action program which provides opportunities to innovators, scales up, entrepreneurs, and stakeholders. They focus on the following five pillars, which are talent and diversity, emerging technologies, access to markets, stimulate network connection, and development of innovative district. Their goal is to boost the Amsterdam's growth as a startup and scale-up center where creative firms may expand their sustainability. Their vision is to become a preferred European location for startups. The main ambition is to create a place for Amsterdams in Europe in European top three such as Berlin, Paris, and London. Next, please. Their current services are encourage female entrepreneurship, connect fast-growing companies to the various education initiatives, organize international activities for companies that want to grow internationally, provide relevant information for growing entrepreneurs, attract and support relevant events that set the ecosystem. Next, please. Now I'll explain the SWOT analysis. So its strengths are spirit of innovation, diverse and innovative ecosystem, the creation of innovative district, growth of ecosystem, training and refresher courses. Their weaknesses are issues and challenges to achieve sustainable growth, underrepresented female entrepreneur, difficult for innovative companies to grow and reach international markets. Their opportunities are highly skilled migrants, establish a municipal A1 lab, new technologies, and the threats which they have are increased economic and social inequalities between the parties, ethical issues. So the next part will be explained by Kamal. Kamal.
Hi, today I'm going to explain about the pistol analysis. In the pistol, first one is political new structures that concern on tax that would boost consumer spending, the help the economy. This will move towards the environmental sustainable courses and operating excellence is the main stability of the business. New financial projects in trade policy and consumer productions are the main. In the economic rates of interest in exchange of currency, customer trust, foreign exchange income, comes under economic, and in the social environmental considerations, health campaigns, changing demographics, human development index are main in the social. In the technology, to improve the technology, they have already got the improved technology because they are using free internet to make the technology, and they are doing research and development programs. They are having very good telecommunications, which is the strongest brand sector in the world. And the legal, they have got legal differences operating a business. In the environment, they have got particular concerns about the air and water pollution, which is because of the agricultural activities, and they have got natural hazards like sea storms and floods that occur very much frequently in Netherlands. This is about the pestle analysis, and next will be followed by stat.
Thanks, Kamal. So
Yeah.
the Porter's five forces analysis is based on the perception of understanding threats and opportunities in external setting. The industry of UK startups has been tightening over the past few years as newer entrants are entering into the industry, threat from existing rivals. It is massive as the UK startup industry is packed £17.2 billion investment in 2021. Threat from new entrants. It is massive as foreign investors are being attracted for the UK startups. Then threat from buyer side. It is normal for those who invest themselves, but can be bigger for those attracting investment. London dominates in startup investment in the Europe. And threat from suppliers, it is supplier side, it is high because they have wider options. And last one is threat from alternatives. It is quite less in this industry. Next slide, please. Diversification strategies. There are 4 cases, as you can see. The market in the UK is getting more concentrated as there are more than 7,000 investors in tech sector, and nearly 2,000 companies found every day. The startup services providers can focus over diversifying their portfolio so that the competitive scenario can be further strengthened for them. The diversification strategies can vary from market penetration to market development. Next slide, please. VRIO analysis. What is VRIO analysis? It is like a valuable, rare, non-imitable, and original. The resources must be unique as the VRIO analysis depicts below. Valuable. The industry is led by the top private investors, which have valuable resources, as around 7,423 investors are active in tech startups. Rare, the firms who have such resources, which are rare, are leading the way as shown in the graph. And non-imitable, the resources must be big, and expertise is the most difficult to imitate resources, as top 25 investors in the UK industry carry huge expertise. Original, the private investors prevailing in the UK startup services industry have original expertise as resources. Next slide, please. The market is consistently entering new competitors. London is leading in the entire UK, as it is the hub of investment with more than 56%. 1,843 new firms being funded on daily basis in 2022, as shown in the graph. With 77 every hour in 2022. The overall market scenario is highly competitive, and companies with low investment can seek new ways, as UK business population reached 6 million in 2020. Thank you so much, and the next part will be described by Yusuf.
Thank you, Ishtiaq. I'm going to talk about the value chain analysis. The service industry value chain consists of different inputs, outputs, and activities from the manufacturing industry. So for Startup Amsterdam, the inbound logistics would be the experience and the talent the mentors provide for the consumers. Operations for Startup Amsterdam is about providing mentoring, access to markets, and network connections. Outbound logistics activities in this case include direct service delivery to the consumer, such as internet speed, good quality service, and according to entrepreneurs, explain their high quality ratings with the good quality the service by Startup Amsterdam is providing. For the marketing, even though Startup Amsterdam hosts events and newsletters to reach as much entrepreneurs as possible, a study has shown that many entrepreneurs don't know about Startup Amsterdam, and some research is required to learn about the organization. For the Startup Amsterdam services, support provided for startup after the program, such as helping startups with obtaining talent. Further, Startup Amsterdam sends updated news and reports for available opportunities. For infrastructure, Startup Amsterdam has sufficient budget and strategic planning in its agenda. Human resources continue to play a critical role in the value chain for the service industry. So the company have a team with a variety of talents and support to support startups. The company helps scale-ups and small medium enterprises leverage AI, robotics, and other technologies while keeping a close eye on ethical concerns like privacy and security. And lastly, the company supports startups by giving funds early on to cover things such as operation costs, R&D expenses, and costs associated with attracting venture capitalists. Next, we have an analysis of competitive advantage between the competitors of Startup Amsterdam. We have here two competitors such as YesDelft and Collider, each with different advantages. For example, Collider offers 100K investment for startups, but however takes 5 to 8 equity% in return, while YesDelft provide funds through investors while taking 0 equity. YesDelft focuses on complex tech products and AI, while Collider focuses on marketing and advertising and commerce. YesDelft support the early stages of startups and have a 2-year support after the program ends, while Collider supports the later stage startups, and startups are welcome to join events and other companies and partners after the program ends. Here are 3 more companies that are competitive to Startup Amsterdam. We have different things here, such as the services provided with each one, such as Eagle Labs is providing mentoring, engineering, and special programs, while Finerva providing R&D, commercial, and strategy advisory. For support stage, each with different support stage, such as Eagle Lab have full support, while Finerva have an early support. For coverage, for example, Eagle covers entire UK and Finerva as well, but Finerva also covers Wales, and Startup Giants covers outside of UK. This is for competitive advantage. And next is Alima. Go ahead.
Thank you, Yusuf. My name is Alima, and I will be talking about the recommendation and implementation plan. So based on the challenges faced by Startup Amsterdam, we have set out some strategic recommendation which could be helpful. They include creating a more favorable environment and attractive opportunity to scout foreign talents and international students from university. And something like creating a startup visa could be helpful. Another point is a continuous investment and fostering the importance of diversity and emphasizing gender inclusion, that is, supporting more female entrepreneurs in startup. Next, please. The abilities of leaders to successfully work together in an entrepreneurship ecosystem improves the coordination of the ecosystem and improves support for high level of entrepreneurial activities. So we recommend that a good leadership among stakeholders and policymakers of Startup Amsterdam. Another point is Startup Amsterdam should continuously collaborate with emerging firms, because collaborating with other organizations increases the rate of startup. Moving on to the implementation plan. Startup Amsterdam uses government rules to guide implementation projects. The rules include connectors. Connectors involve a neutral fostering and mediation between people, like interaction between people, actors, and clusters of ecosystem. Communicators they include creating awareness and positioning Amsterdam as an innovative hub. Ecosystem builders. This involves building ecosystem through action-driven projects. Service providers provide services for ecosystems benefits. Data gatherers conduct researches and gather relevant data to understand the ecosystem. Advocates involve interacting with policymakers on national and European level. So once the project has been, the governing body of the project has been identified, the next stage is to understand, the first step is to determine the governing body, and in order to understand the area of focus, the next stage is to determine the goal of the project. After the goal is being established, budget is organized. If the approach has the right effect, and then there's a scale up, and finally, there's a monitoring and evaluation process to ensure that the plan is working as planned. So moving on to the brief budget analysis. This table presents a brief budget that would be required to carry out the listed projects. We looked through Startup Amsterdam reports, and we came up with the budget that will be required for the year 2020. So this, for talent and diversity, 400,000 will be required, and these are the list of the amount that will be required. Thank you for listening.